The underground filmmaker extraordinaire, Nick Zedd, died earlier this week. I had exchanged letters with Nick in the late 90s. It all started after I had been bumming around New York City for a week. I happened to see a flyer that Nick had posted on a telephone pole. It read, "Nick Zedd film screening, Friday, 8 p.m. at such and such venue." I was thrilled. What timing, I thought. I had owned several of Zedd's VHS tapes, and I had read his amazing book, Totem of the Depraved, published by Henry Rollins. Now, I would get to see his films live, including new works I hadn't yet seen. And I would possibly get to meet Nick Zedd after the screening. When I got to the venue, things seemed a bit upside down. The crowd appeared ultra bourgeoisie, and there was no Zedd present, nor any mention of Zedd's films. I verified the address with the woman sitting next to me. It was the right place and the right time. Instead of subversive cinema, the film that began playing was a documentary, if you could call it that. It was basically a portrait of an artist sitting in his bathtub, drinking champagne. The artist then got up, wrapped a towel around his waist, and walked up to an empty canvas on an easel. He then switched out the champagne bottle with a bottle of red wine. He drank the wine out of the bottle, swished it around his mouth, then spit the wine out onto the canvas. The artist repeated this technique again and again. And I remember so vividly how the bourgeois audience absolutely loved this scene. Big grins on faces, mouths open in shock and awe, and several verbal comments, including from the woman next to me. "Oh my God! Oh my God!" I also remember vividly that this was the point. I abruptly got up and left. Zedd wrote me back a few weeks later and explained that his show had been canceled by the venue due to the nature of his subversive films. They must have booked the thing I had seen in its place. He told me this was becoming more of a common occurrence. He talked about how New York City had changed. In other letters, Zedd recommended me bands to listen to, like Atari Teenage Riot, and books to read, like Film as a Subversive Art by Amos Vogel. I devoured his suggestions. It would be almost 2 decades later, but I would finally get a do-over. Nick Zedd was coming to Los Angeles from Mexico City, where he was living, and was going to screen his films at a venue downtown. I went to the screening, and afterwards, I finally met Nick Zedd. He seemed genuinely kind and happy. We shook hands and smiled at one another, and I told him, "Thank you for all your films."